duszę w locie ćmy.
Hello and welcome to Raven Art Paintings. Today we're gonna paint the Archespor, another monster from the Witcher Old World board game. As you can see on the picture that should appear in the corner there, the model itself will be mainly in kind of shades of green and red. The mini itself was primed first of all in black all over, and then from the top it was painted with the gray primer, so with a kind of 45-degree angle, all the surface so to remain a bit darker on the bottom. The reference card from the board game, it's pretty cool. Again, it's a little bit dark, but you can see some of the colors on it, the indication of it. However, I found some picture in the internet, the bigger version of that, and as well there is a nice picture on the Wikipedia, the Witcher Wikipedia, which gives the nice color recollection, and that will be my main reference card. So enough talking about the reference. We're gonna start painting. So first of all, the Corax white I used to paint is some sort of like an X or blister, you name it. So I paint them white, as we're gonna use some contrast paint on them later on. However, if you wish, you might skip this step and do that later on. I had to redo that again at the final stage, as we did a lot of dry brushing on this model, and it's hard to avoid to get those white pieces stained. Our first base color will be the Death World Forest, and I did 2 thin coats. I didn't put too much of the paint in the darker recesses areas. Obviously I didn't paint the big vein that going across, but if you want to speed up, you might just paint the whole model with this color first and then start from that. So that's also an option. Obviously, you know, I wouldn't be painting the front of that flower, as we want that black and gray reflection on it. However, the base of that plant monster, you can paint the whole lot with this base color. Next, we're gonna get some Rapstone Glow. This is the layer paint, which has a little bit less covering, and this exactly what we want. So like as you can see on that little piece of the flower, I put a tiny bit of pure Rapstone Glow. However, for the rest of the body I mixed with our previous base color, which was the reminder of the Death World Forest, and very gently, kind of like a very gently touch of the brushes. We don't want to cover the previous paint completely, we just want the recesses remain in our previous color, so very gentle touches of the brushes here and there to give a little bit more of that nice green tone on the top of our dead green. Next, we're gonna switch to our main red tone, which is the Mephiston red, and we're gonna paint the whole flower, and as well we're gonna paint all the veins on the plant body. The big one that going around the plant base, and as well the small tiny ones will be painted with it as well, but that will be a later stage. At this stage we're gonna put a little bit of wash. So in my case I mix the Seraphim Sepia with the Agrax Earth Shade, like in proportion 3:2, so 3 parts of Seraphim Sepia and 2 parts of Agrax Earth Shade. Now, our next step will be painting the base. So in my case I decided to go with the Agralan Earth. It's a technical paint from Citadel, and this paint will give you the nice effect of the cracked dry soil. So you might put the quite thick coat of this paint, and the thicker you go, the nicest cracks you're gonna get. Just don't forget that this paint dries very slowly, so you need to give that paint an extra time to dry off completely before you go further. Once that paint is completely dry, then we're gonna put our wash. In my case I put pure Seraphim Sepia on my model. In our next step we're gonna do a bit of a dry brushing on the model, so we're gonna use 2 paints, which is the Dark World Forest and the Ogre Camo. We're gonna start off with the pure Dark World Forest, and then we're gonna mix in a bit of the Ogre Camo to it in the next layers, and the final one will be the pure Ogre Camo. Again, we're gonna start quite heavily. And then the last, the brightest tone that's going towards the end will be very gentle, just to get the exposed surfaces and edges highlighted. In our next step we're gonna do a bit of dry brushing on the flower itself, so we're gonna start with the Evil Sun Scarlet, and we're gonna do the whole flower as you go, and then we're gonna move to the Wild Rider Red and Troll Slayer Orange. So we're gonna move brighter to brighter tone, so we're gonna again cover a little bit less every time, and we move towards the edges to have the brightest tones on the edges and be darker through the center. As you can see now, I'm doing the pure Troll Slayer Orange now, but again I'm not pushing the brush too hard, and I'm just doing the outer rim of that flower. And towards the end we change the brush to the ordinary painting brush, and we can do we can highlight the edges with the pure Troll Slayer Orange. Remember to use the side of the brush, not the top, so you avoid any mistakes, and then a few final touches here and there just to put a little bit of an extra contrast on the flower with our orange tone. Now we go back to our Mephiston red, and we're gonna paint all the vines on the body of our monsters. So in this case, try to be as neat as possible. This is probably the hardest part at this stage. So I started with the painting the main one first, going around, and then there's quite a few some tiny ones that are going all over the body of our plant monster. So I want to have them all in red. This is a kind of a long process, so try to put as much effort to be precise and not gonna go over. Again, if you do make a mistake, you still have your Ogryn camo and you still have your dart, that world forest on your palette. So with the ordinary brush, fix here and there if you have to. I didn't avoid mistakes as well, as you can see later on. I did not try to cover myself. It does happen to while you're painting such a small mini. So just take it that it cannot happen to anyone, and simple fix for that. Once we have all of them painted, then with our Evil Sun's Scarlet, we do the first highlight. It's mainly to paint the top surface of that big vine that going across, and then we're gonna do the further highlights with the wide rider red. Again, we're gonna cover the smaller parts as we go along. So again, if you looking how's the light going from the top of your how's the light going the top on your mini. If you can't imagine it, simply dim the light, put the torch above it, and see what the parts are exposed. And these are the parts that you should really put the brighter tones only. So as you can see now, I'm painting only the top surface of that wine that's going across. I will also do small touches on the small wines here and there with this color tone. I remind you the Wild Rider red, just to give them a bit more contrast. But again, this bright light red, it's really covering the top surfaces. And our final highlight tone, it's the mixture of the Wild Rider red and the Troll Slayer orange, but this is a very, very gentle touch, literally here and there. Now I'm gonna switch to Bielton green and as well to the Cassandra yellow in a minute, and we're gonna put a bit of more contrast on the base itself. the base, the plant base itself. So very little of that wash on your brush, and we're gonna paint those green areas here and there. Again, we're not gonna soak the model with the paint. We'll literally put a tiny bit of that color on your brush and paint it over here and there. So do not go too much, a little bit better in this case. We just want to have a bit of a contrast between our green tones that we had later on. While I'm doing this only now, because if you make any mistakes while you put in the red on the wine, it's an easy fix. If you put the wash before, it might be a bit harder. So now, as you can see, I'm repeating the same step with the Cassandra yellow and painting over again. So we're gonna have the kind of a greenish yellow plant. I also put a little bit of that yellow orangey wash on the flower itself. Now, as you can see, I get back to our white color to fix the white on those areas that unfortunately get covered with different colors while I was doing the dry brushing. Now, as you probably remember on the reference card, that the leaves on the bottom had red edges, so with the dry brush gently touches Evil Scarlet first. So we're gonna touch here and there just to give that nice effect, and once we're done with this color, we're gonna take a little bit of the Mephiston red and we're gonna put gently on the very edges of that of those leaves on the bottom, just to give them a really nice contrasty look. So the body of the leaves will be green, but then the edges will get that kind of reddish looking. Next, we're gonna get to our base green that we start off. We're gonna mix with Avalanche Sunset just to do a bit nicer green color, and we're gonna do a bit of a highlighting on that wee stick that coming out of the flower. So again, we're gonna do in a couple of stages, adding more and more yellow as our highlight tone. I'm also do a wee highlight on that flower back. There's a couple leaves in here, just a tiny bit of that lighter green color on the edges there. And just to finish it off, that wee stick coming out of the flower, a little bit of the Screamer pink inside, just to match our reference card and put a bit of a nice contrast, color contrast there. In our next step, we're gonna paint those blisters that we covered them in white. So first we're gonna start off with the Argon's Dunes, just to put a nice brown tone on those. That paint dries off quite slowly, so give it an extra time. And while we're waiting for that to dry, we switch back to Gorton Brown and we do a bit of a dry brushing on the base itself. I also use the Screaming Skull just to brighten up this brown tone and do the final touches with the dye brushing here and there with the mix of the Gorter Brown and the Screaming Skull. Once our blisters dry off the brown tone, then I put the Bad Moon Yellow on the top of it. So I put 2 layers of that contrast paint. I want the blisters to stand off a little bit from the model itself, and as well just to give an extra contrast to that stick in the flower, I put a tiny cover of that very, very yellowy looking paint. Now for the base itself, for the rim, German grey, my standard color for all the monsters, so 2 layers of the German grey should do the job. And just to finish our blisters, we want them to be nice and shiny, so we put a tiny bit of the Art Coat technical paint from Citadel. And just to finish it off, we bit of the dry grass, yellow looking grass. I thought that this base was a bit too plain, so I decided to put a tiny bit of that grass as well. Now, so this is it. Our Archespor is ready and painted. I hope you like that model. I hope you like that video. If so, please give the thumb up, and as well, please don't forget to subscribe my channel if you don't want to miss any further videos. As well, please don't forget to click on the wee tiny bell beside it so you will get the notification. Once again, thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye now.